Hey, hi, hello. Okay, hey. Hello, beautiful. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Hey, hi, hello, everybody watching. Yeah, it's so good to be here today. Mondays, TGIM. I love to use Mondays as a reset, a renewal, a refresh, reaffirming what we are here to do, be, and have. We get an opportunity to reset and step out of like constantly punishing ourselves for things that we didn't do or didn't get to do last week. So that's Mondays, TJM, and that's why we thank God it's Monday.
Love it.
Oh, look at that.
Taking some of us.
So today, I have Sydney here with us on TGIM Journey to Inner Self series. And I'm so grateful to be with Sydney here. She has empowering wisdom for moms, bringing in peace and calm into your everyday life and just embracing, mental wellness, health and wellness, and all the goodness.
Yes, yes, yes. Conquering the chaos.
Conquering the chaos. So wonderful. So, Sydney, tell us a little bit about yourself. Hi, Shani.
Hello, hello. Well, yeah, I'm a mom of two girls. My girls are almost 10 and 12 now. They both have birthdays in April coming up. And so we are getting out of the single digits. We are in like full-fledged preteen age. It is a ride. My husband and I
Totally.
have been together for half of my life, which is almost 20 years.
Okay.
And we are raising our girls in Canmore, Alberta, which is in the Canadian Rockies. We love it here. I'm a mental wellness coach, major mental wellness advocate. I got into this space to support my daughter who has a rare genetic disorder. And the doctors kind of just kept saying, well, maybe we can try this med or maybe this. And like, because it's rare, they didn't have a lot of answers. There wasn't anything concrete like, we're going to do this and this is going to be your end result, which is what I'm finding very common in Western medicine. And it really just propelled me down a path of looking for more natural and holistic ways to help support her, which in turn I was able to find answers for myself as well. I had suffered from anxiety for as long as I can remember, but was diagnosed with postpartum anxiety and was on medication for the better part of my daughter's like infancy and childhood. I was on medication for like 7 or 8 years, and when I went on it, the doctors, like, I wasn't sleeping, I was having panic attacks in the middle of the night, and they were like, oh, we'll just put you on this medication for a year and then you're gonna feel better and life is gonna be great. And then 8 years later I was still on it. And so yeah, I just, when you're in the thick of it, I wasn't feeling like I had the capacity to do more for myself. But when it came down to finding answers for my daughter, it was a blessing in disguise, because then we were both able to find natural support and ways to, make our household better and more in harmony, is what I like to say, but there's still chaos around every single corner.
Yes, yeah, right. Life brings the chaos.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so empowering. So, started off with your daughter and her rare genetic disorder, and then it kind of rippled out to your whole family.
Yeah. Now we all are on like the holistic train, I like to say. Right down to getting spring water versus drinking tap water. So we have, just gone. I love
Oh,
it. I
that's
mean,
so
I
good.
was away for a couple of days while the girls were in like at a gymnastics competition this weekend, and you just drink what you can. But yeah, I'm just making more holistic choices for our entire household now, and I love that my husband's on this train with us, and my daughters are like fully engulfed in this whole, holistic way of living, and it's just nice to be able to teach them at such a young age. And so I like to say I've been peeling back layers of my onion over the last 40 years. I'm like, oh, there's another thing I need to let go of and another thing I need to shed and unlearn. And so I find it so empowering to be able to teach the girls at such a young age so that they don't have to do this unlearning in their 30s and 40s like I've had to.
Yes. Oh my God, I feel that so deep, like so deep. Um, I have those. Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
have the, I have those conversations too with my daughter. She's 12, and yeah, like the motivation that we have as moms, like in our later years, we don't want our girls or our kids to have to go through all that unlearning, like you said.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, quick question: if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would it be?
Adventurous, nurturing, and loving.
Adventurous, nurturing, and light.
Loving.
Loving. Okay, awesome. Yay, so good. Sorry, I'm having a hard time.
All
It's
good.
kind of loud.
I know we've had a little bit of a chaotic morning. We were going to do this a few hours ago. You've had things going on. I've got a girl home with the flu. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank
Mom
you. Thank
life.
you. Yeah. Loving life, meeting ourselves where we're at. It's 111 in Manitoba, so I can't say we're not in alignment or we're not where we're supposed to be in this moment. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and what makes you unique in this industry and who you help.
Yeah. So I've kind of self-branded myself the mom empowerment coach. I went through a phase of life where, you know, I woke up and I was like, I kind of want a refund on adulting. This isn't really what I signed up for. What's happening? How do I get through this? Right? Like maybe I can just, yeah, at one point, I mean, when life was really, really hard for me, I was looking at one-way tickets to leave my family because I thought that they would be better off without me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so I took that pain and became a certified mindset coach, a certified mental wellness coach. And I just really want to empower moms to either get through those dark days, help them, find that light at the end of the tunnel the way that I was able to, maybe a little bit faster than I was able to. Maybe with a little bit more hand holding than I was able to find, and just have somebody in their corner. So that's what I do, is just kind of help moms through that, and give them the tools to feel better along the way, whether that's for themselves or their kids or the entire family.
Beautiful transformation. How they show up for all of them. Yeah. So when people come to you, or can you tell me a little bit about the process, or what do you feel like people come to you with the most? Like, what are they struggling with, or their pain
Yeah.
points?
I think personally I found the most success in the supplement space. A lot of people understand the quote unquote right things to do. They just don't necessarily have the bandwidth to do it. And that's where the mental wellness supplements have kind of helped fill that gap for me. Obviously I have some coaching practices and some coaching modules that I can work with people on. But when it comes down to like the nitty gritty of it, where I've had the most success in helping moms is giving them these supplements that help them fill the gap. They just need a little bit more energy to do the meditation. Maybe they just need a little bit more energy to do the journaling or to cook the holistic meal instead of ordering takeout again. Because I mean, when I was in the thick of it, like my husband and I were ordering takeout 5 nights a week because I didn't have the bandwidth to cook anymore. He was coming home from long days at work. He didn't have the bandwidth to cook anymore. Like it was just this never ending exhaustion cycle. And so when it comes down to what has the most impact, what can help fill the gap the fastest, it's the supplements.
Right.
Obviously,
Beautiful.
more work beyond that. They're not a magic pill. They don't just like, boom, everything's better. So I will add that on the end for some context. But once you start getting these in your system, once people have started, just feeling a little bit more energized, and then they can implement some of these other tools, these other mindset practices, these other holistic practices that are, allow for more benefits in their life, then the blocks start kind of stacking on top of one another, right? Like that's what this wellness journey is. It's like, how can I put one more foot in front of the other, or how can I add one more brick to this wall so that I can feel better along the way? It's not just one size fits all. It's not just like one magic pill that, you know, makes everything better. It is like a whole bunch of little things that you can stack on top of each other.
Mm.
But if you don't have the energy or the bandwidth to do the first thing at the end of the day, which is maybe eating a holistic diet or getting some exercise, getting outside for a walk, like there's all these things, but people, like, especially when I was in the thick of it, it's like, I know what I should be doing, but I can't physically make my body do the things.
Oh wow, you're giving me goosebumps. Like that is the thing. And what you said, like they look at the whole of it. That's what we represent. And so, like with Lively Intuitive Transformations, my business, we connect that whole, right? Like there's the, and you know, in your own, like the function, making it functional, there's the physical, there's the mental, there's the emotional, and there's the spiritual. We have a heart, we have a soul.
Yes.
Those are just as part as much a part of our health and wellness. Yet those two, like our spirit and our emotional body and our mind, there's three, I guess, when they're suffering and struggling, we don't physically have it in us to do those things that we need to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, in the medicine wheel, like it starts with our physical health. That's our first step. And like you mentioned about building up on that, right? And so, yeah, wow, powerful. Thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of people need to hear that, where they're stuck and they don't know where to start. And it's like, okay, what's one little thing that I can do to help my physical body start feeling better so I can start showing up for myself?
Yeah.
And then that's where the mental
and
illness
your kids and like all these things, like we put so much external pressure on ourselves to like be the best at everything. And I think like as women, we are, you know, we're in the workforce, we're in the home, we're doing all of these things, and it's like we're carrying the weight of the world on our backs. And at what cost? So yeah, I think it's just important that you know that like it's a journey. Your wellness is a journey. Life is a journey, and you have to find the joy in the journey. It's not this destination. And when I was in my 20s and my 30s, like early 30s, it was like, oh, if I just get to that, then everything's going to be better. If I just get to this day and this moment, and I pass this certification, or I, you know, get my kids out of diapers, or like whatever that is, it's like, then it's going to be better. And it's like, no, like you have to learn how to like embrace that journey. And, you know, especially when you're looking at the wellness space, so many people spend 20, 30, 40 years getting their body to like this point where they like feel like they can't physically cope anymore, or like it's just like they're not performing at the level that they imagine that they would be. And they think that like, oh, I can take a magic pill or a magic shot or do like this intense workout and everything is going to be better. And like, no, it's like this whole encompassing journey that you have to enjoy and go through. Like it's not just a quick, there's no such thing as a quick fix, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No, yes, it is a journey. It is. If we wanted that quick fix, I do 100% agree with you. The quickest way to fix it is allowing your brain to not know, to accept that it's not going to be quick.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, you just have to know that like taking a pill for 30 days is not going to erase 40 years of treating your body like garbage. So you have to.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. So many people jump off the wagon like that. So after the first 30 days, something's not working for me. Next. They don't actually take the time to give their body a chance to heal. And their mind, their emotions, all of it. Thank you for sharing. Why is this work important to you, Sydney?
I've always had like an inclination to be drawn towards like healing modalities. When I was younger, I wanted to get into nursing. My dad was a paramedic for my entire life, his entire career. You know, I come from a long line of doctors and nurses and things like that. And nursing for me just wasn't the right fit. And so I've constantly found myself going into trying to find the right modality for me to help people. I've always felt the need to leave an impact not just for myself or my family, but, you know, for my community, for the world. You know, one thing that I've always dreamed of is like speaking on stages with my daughter. And I feel this big pull towards that. And so I know my journey is like fairly new in this space. Yeah, it's just one more piece where I can get towards leaving a lasting impact and a legacy for my kiddos.
So sweet. Thank you. And a big shout out to your dad, sending him love. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Wow, that's so important. The legacy that your dad left with you, and that you're going to turn around and ripple that out. So thank you. Thank you. And I'm sending you a big hug.
Thank you.
But yeah, big hugs. Thank you for sharing that with me, with the listeners. Speaking of dad and your kids, what could if you could go back to your younger self and give your younger self advice, what would it be?
Honestly, and like this is a shout out to all the moms out there, is just to like not put the pressure on yourself to have it all figured out. When I had my first daughter, we had like so many health struggles in the beginning. We were in the hospital for our first 5 days. I really had like, I think every person, every woman out there that ends up becoming a mom is always the best mom they're ever going to be before they have kids, right? Like we have this like whole plan laid out. I knew I was going to have this type of disciplinary action, and I was going to have this type of delivery, and I was going to have this, like I just had it all planned out in my head. And once reality sinks in and you realize you're navigating these waters without a manual, like kids don't just show up on your doorstep with like a how-to book. No matter how many books are out there, no matter how many books are published or like blogs or whatever, where all this information is stored, like at the end of the day, you need to figure out what's best for you. And the best way you're going to do that is just to like tune into you and your child's needs on like a daily basis. Like the more pressure I put on myself in the beginning, it was like the harder it became to be a mom. And so I would just say, like, none of us really have it figured out. We're all navigating it day by day. Every level has a different level of complications and a different level of like joy. And you just have to learn how to like keep putting one foot in front of the other day after day. And like, yeah, it just, the pressure that moms put on ourselves, and women in general, but that we put on ourselves to just be so perfect for our kids, it ends up destroying you.
It does. It really does. We're seeking something outside of ourselves for that, perfection. So to release the pressure of trying to figure it all out at once and have everything planned. I went in with a birth plan too. I had it written down. I was like, step by step.
Yep.
I actually found it the other day. I was going through all my like paperwork. The other day, beginning of January, when I was going through my year ends, and I was like, oh my God, still have this 12 years later. And it was a good reminder of that. Like, no matter how much we plan shit out, life is gonna life. And we're gonna have to adapt, like we did today, this morning, having to meet ourselves. It's like, no matter what I did, I couldn't find a quiet space for this.
You did a great job.
Thank you. My chicken was overcooked and late, so I didn't even get to finish lunch before we jumped on, but it's fine. It's all good. We're adapting, and when we're taking care of ourselves and doing those daily steps, that resilience is there. We get to like have a invisible cloak of resilience that we're covered in, and then when life gets lifey, as it will, we can still navigate that and find that peace and calm and trust in those moments. We're not going to have all the answers. A message that's coming to mind right now is like, if we don't know every meal that we're going to have for the rest of our life. We take it literally meal by meal and we go with that. And sometimes it's week by week. Some people meal prep. But in that, like it would, if we knew every meal that we were going to have for the rest of our life, it would kind of ruin the fun.
I agree.
So yeah, learning to find the joy. Oh, and important. There's new challenges. There's new chaos. You mentioned there's also new joy. And like, wow, yeah, allowing yourself to experience that new level of joy.
Yeah. And they're really like, I mean, I feel like social media and maybe having all of this information at our fingertips has created a little bit more pressure for moms in this day and age. You know, it's like, oh, well, this person says to do this way of child rearing, and this person says to do this way. And there's so much knowledge rather than just like being with yourself and maybe your mom or like your neighbors. And like, we've kind of lost that sense of like close community because there's so much community at our fingertips now. And so I think it's really important to like tune into yourself and try to tune out a lot of the other outside information. Like I was such a sponge in those early years, and I feel like it was almost to a detriment because I kind of lost my own voice in that, my own sense of self and my own sense of confidence in that. And so I think if we can just like take a step back and just be with ourselves, have trust and faith in ourselves that we will find the answers and you're the best person to raise your kids, that you don't need all of that existential information that you're getting from all angles every day.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to somebody or like a mom who's in that space of, you know, scrolling Instagram, scrolling TikTok, doing the things, trying to have all the books, listening to all the audibles or the podcasts? What advice would you give to me in this moment?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just a human nature now, like with all of that information that we do try to absorb as much as possible. But how much of it are you actually absorbing versus just consuming? So once you are consuming all of that information, like what are you actually doing with it? Are you journaling on it? Are you seeing what sits right with you? Do you have, like, are you meditating with it? Like there are so many ways that you can kind of digest that information and see if it's the right fit for you. And I guess the biggest thing is if you try something and you innately feel like this is not me, trust with that. Just because somebody said that that's the best way for them doesn't make it the best way for you. You have to figure out what's going to work for you and your kid, and only you are going to be the expert in knowing if that's the right or not.
Oh, so many times you were speaking, like I can't even tell you, like the truth bumps, it's just shivers down through my whole body. Thank you. To me, that shows that there are moms who need to hear your message, to hear your voice, to hear and experience what it is that you have to share and the transformation that you can help them with. Excuse me. So how can people find you? Where can people find you?
I have a website. It's www.sydneycrowe.com. So that's SYDNEYCROWE.com. Obviously, I'm here on Instagram. My messages are always open. You can also find me on Facebook at Sydney J. Crowe. So let me know. My messages are always open. Yeah, happy to assist in any way possible.
Thank you, Sydney, so much. Oh my God, it was a pleasure. Even me, some of these reminders that you've shared today and that we talked about, I needed to hear them this morning. It's from my inner child to my rebellious teen to my adult self, my mom self. I was on the phone with my daughter before we got on live here, and I could see her hair was a mess. Her skin was dry. I don't know when the last time she had a bath. We haven't been together tomorrow it'll be a week.
Wow.
So it's been a bit. She went with her dad on some holidays, and then I've been gone working. So I called to check in, and it was like, okay, Mom, how can we, Mom, 4 hours away.
Yeah.
And remind her like what we can do in this moment. And so just the added piece for the moms out there too, because when you look at your kids, you're also definitely like speaking to your own inner child. You
Oh, for
mentioned you mentioned part of that, like, growing up, how you went through and unlearning that. So it's in us speaking to our inner child as well as their children. What what could we do, or what could we say that our younger self would have liked to hear or needed to hear in those moments? So it was beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate this conversation. And yeah, now I can't wait to get home to my girl.
I don't blame you. I always feel that way when I'm away for work. I'm like, it's nice to have a bed where I can sleep and it's uninterrupted, but then I'm like, I just want to be at home.
Right? Plus, the hotel I was staying at last night, they only had a room with 2 beds. I was like, a single's fine. Single's fine. And they're like, no, we only have 2 beds. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I guess my angels are coming along. But so yeah, I definitely missing her and thinking how she would have been picking which bed she wanted to sleep in, by the window or the door, and all the things. So
Well,
yeah.
safe travels home, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Sydney. I look forward to speaking with you more. And yeah, people, when moms out there, you guys get a hold of her, Sydney J Crowe with an E. Okay, she's on Instagram. I'll tag her and I'll share her website in the caption too as well. Thank you, Sydney, for everything.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Awesome. Okay, what a beautiful conversation that was with Sydney. And for moms out there to release the pressure of trying to figure it all out at once and putting all that pressure and stress on themselves. When when we release that pressure and that extra stress, we actually have the opportunity to build a strong core around us. Hello. And in that strong core, that's where in that strong barrier, not core, but the core of who we are is strong with self-awareness, action, and kindness to ourselves. And then we're supported by a circle of wholeness, of resilience, so that when life gets lifey and those shitstorms come in, we are resilient enough to navigate that. All the love today. So giving yourself that love. Sydney mentioned, it can be hard when we're actually in the thick of it to physically have the oomph to get out and show up for ourselves, showing up for our kids, showing up for our loved ones. And so what's one small baby step that you can make today that has your physical body feeling energized, feeling motivated, feeling like, yes, I can do this. And so what's one small step? And maybe that's just simply asking yourself, how much of the information am I consuming? Am I actually taking action on? Okay, so I really appreciate Sydney's advice there at the end of what are you actually doing with all this information? Are you journaling? Are you having challenging conversations? Are you carving space in your busy schedule for you? So getting honest, this isn't about judgment, it's about curiosity. How can you be your own best wisdom keeper? How can you show up for yourself like never before? When I was on the phone convo with my daughter, I said to her, like, I can't shower for you, my girl. Nobody can shower for you. Nobody can take care of you in the ways that you can take care of you. And nobody's going to do it for you. So, sending you love, hold curiosity, not judgment. This isn't about punishing ourselves. This isn't about beating ourselves up, because nobody wins when they're at war with themselves, okay? So, all love to you. It's going to be okay. One step at a time, one baby step at a time. If you can't get up to take that step, walk, run, limp, or crawl. Okay? Find a way. Make a way out of no way. I believe in you. I trust in you. And I'm sending you mega love that yes, you can. And if you really feel like you can, reach out to me at amyd.co, and reach out to Sydney for those, especially for those moms out there, or if you're interested in doing this work. And I'm impartial whether or not it's with me. I just want to see people win and be that change in the world. So much like Sydney, we are in alignment with our legacies on that note. Thank you guys so much for being here, for watching live or the replay, listening on YouTube or Spotify. Appreciate you guys all. And the future is a bunch of right nows on top of each other. So what can you do for right now? Follow us on Spotify, Journey to Inner Self series, YouTube, Journey to Inner Self series, TikTok, Instagram at reds.litcoaching or at amyd.co. And yeah, thank you, that which is greater, for the earth we walk on, the air we breathe, the fire to fuel our souls, and the water to cleanse us mind, bodies, and spirits. We have a complimentary discovery chat if this episode resonated with you. Reach out, step out of overwhelm, and into action. Peace and blessings on you today.